Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
And I'm Beth Ellicott.
And you are listening to the midweek version of Fiber Talk, the twice-weekly podcast for needlework artists. Tonight we're going to stitch and chat, and we're going to do that because I simply haven't had time to get a guest, so we're going to do it again. But we have fun. We went an hour and a half last week.
Right. I got a lot done. On Spring Hill. So that was fun. It was fun just to chat and see what other people were doing, and yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, last week when we got done, I kind of was thinking we need to do this more often because it was fun.
It is nice because then it's just visiting with your stitching friends and.
Yep.
Yeah. What else?
Well, we're going to do it again. So there you have it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I still that thread that I wrecked tearing out the other stuff. I still haven't had time to fix that, so that gets fixed. Yeah. It was one of those. I thought it was a quick fix, and then I have to pull out more than I want to because you always have to pull out enough so you can tie in, get enough thread so you can tie in, and then fill in the blanks. So not too bad, but it really irks me when I do that. I just snagged just a few strands with the seam ripper, just a few, but you could tell it was fuzzy now and it's weakened, and so it has to go.
It'll drive you bonkers, and it's my least favorite thing to do is to repair something like that. That is like bottom.
Yep.
Bottom.
So so that'll get fixed. We're recording on Monday, and there's a football game tonight, and so it'll get fixed. Yep. Let's see, Sunday show. Sunday show. What fun. We just recorded this morning. The women did the show. So Beth and Jennifer and Cindy Baldwin all did the show. I wasn't even there. Well, I was, but I was just listening. Yeah.
He was the man behind the curtain. So.
Yep. So, several topics from the women. No Gary on that one. Girls only. So that'll be Sunday.
Girls only. We had a good time. It was a good time just chatting about things and visiting. I enjoyed it.
Yep. Breaking the format. No designer guest, but got the three women yakking. So that was fun. Yep. It was good. There's some good stuff in there. I enjoyed listening to you guys. Just sitting here, just listening.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Hopefully other people will too.
Yep.
Other people will too.
Kate Festo this past Sunday, and daughter of Margaret Kinsey, yes. I got as a gift from Margaret a Rosashi kit.
Ooh.
Thank you, Margaret and Kate. Oh man. Yeah.
I think you need to start that project.
Yep. Silk gauze mounted on the little frame. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want you to take a picture of just the silk gauze, because when she was describing, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I've never seen that ground.
Oh, okay.
Cloth without stitching on it. I mean, I'm curious.
I'll take a picture of the kit. Yeah, I'll take a picture of the kit and lay out all the stuff because it got the special threads in there and everything. So I'm excited to give that a whirl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So thanks to Margaret and Kate for the little treat in the mail. Yep.
Oh, good.
Starting in November, new sponsor starting in November, Stitchville, USA. Debbie at Stitchville is going to join us, and very excited to have that. I was at Stitchville one time. Now, Stitchville is outside of Minneapolis. I was there for a wedding. So got up and drove. It wasn't that far, a half hour? Something like that. Yeah. And, what a treat that store was. Threads of all kinds everywhere. And then in the drawers, even more threads. So.
Yeah, see, that's a store I've never been to. We lived in the Twin Cities, and I think they opened before we left.
Oh.
I can't remember. It's been a long time. But I'd heard of it, and I never went there. And and I think I need to go because they have threads, right? And
Oh,
I need more
Beth,
threads.
they have threads. Yeah. Yep.
I'll have to contact her because I'm the background thread that I was going to use for my lizard is a Splendor, and yeah, I can't get it. I need like 3 cards of it to make sure I have enough. Maybe I'll
Oh,
contact them and see if they have some
yeah.
cards.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, glad to have Stitchville join us as a sponsor. That'll be really great. So that'll be starting in November. And a couple of reminders: the Christmas tree with all the beaded ornaments, fundraiser, Breast Cancer Research Foundation at the Attic. Drawing is November 22. Tickets are $5 for $20. Check or cash. Call the Attic, 888-942-8842. It's a great Christmas tree with ornaments. You'll want to win it, I guarantee you. And a great cause, Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So call the Attic to purchase your raffle tickets for the drawing on November 22.
Right, and I sent mine in. I've sent my check in, and so I'm excited about that. And I'm like, wow, that would be so pretty in my living room at Christmas time.
Yep. Sparkly from end to end.
Sparkly.
Yep.
Yes.
So, so do that. Gene is trying to put together a bunch of money this year. Didn't have as much last year for the same thing and felt bad. It was just the COVID thing. She just couldn't get to it. The whole situation just was crappy anyway. So this year trying to really put together a bunch of money to send to the foundation. So contact the Attic, 888-942-8842. And get in on this because even if you don't win, you've helped out a great cause. But if you win, if you win.
Right. And it is a great cause. And that's what I thought. Let's get this.
It's Mike's turn on Etsy. One more plug for It's Mike's turn. He's down to one page of Ort Bowls. There was a page and 2 on the second page, and I think he had 3 when I last talked about it. So he's down to essentially one page. If you really want a nice treat, a beautiful Ort bowl to keep for yourself or as a gift, It's Mike's Turn is where you go on Etsy, and they're gorgeous. Yep.
Yeah, they are. They're beautiful. Beautiful.
So one more plug for Mike. Help him out. And you will not, I guarantee you will not be disappointed. No way close.
No.
Gorgeous stuff.
That's a beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Yep. One thing that's been bugging me, and I'm going to probably get in trouble for this, but it's been bugging me, is and maybe this is just my perception, but we see more and more designers, or at least that's my perception, offering PDF downloads of their charts.
Right.
And PDF download, or you can buy the paper chart from your local needlework store. And I won't say this right, but I'm sorry. It's kind of bugging me that, and I understand why they do it, because they can sell charts for a retail cost as opposed to wholesale, and people do want to download them. But is it another thing that we're doing that's hurting the local needlework shop? Because now, how many of those charts that they could have sold along with thread and linen now are downloaded?
Right. And I see it more as an opportunity for people who are overseas who maybe are having a harder time getting the charts. Being able to download them. I think some of it was a response to that.
Mm-hmm.
That if you were, in England and you wanted a certain chart, you couldn't get it. Your shop couldn't get it. It was too long to wait. So you could download it and then you could go kit it up at your local needlework store.
Yeah.
That's what and for me, I have to be honest, I don't like downloadable charts. I have a few, maybe 5. I don't like them. I'm I guess I'm a Luddite. I like paper. um, there's something, and I have tried. There's like a Pattern Keeper app, and I tried that, and I was like, I just don't like this. I need paper. So I don't like printing my own either. I'd much rather pay for the shipping and get a real chart in the mail, than the PDF. So for whatever reason, I don't like them. But yeah, I kind of wonder that too, because it is hurting the shops, I would think, to not have those charts for sale. And I just don't like them as well. I much rather touch them, feel them.
Yeah.
It's just, how I am. But
well, and I wonder, probably should have a conversation with Kim about this, and Kim and or Jean or Kathy Ray or Debbie,
right.
I wonder how they feel about that. And of course, I'm sure they'd be hesitant to be flat out honest. But, is the response from the shop, well, you can download that so that I'm not going to carry your charts. I'll use that retail space for something else.
That's true.
If I'm not, if I don't have, if you're going to sell charts as a download, maybe that space would allow me to carry another line of threads.
Right. Or a different, or maybe even, you're a smaller shop. So you say, well, this company, you can download them yourself. I'm not going to bother to have printed charts. I'm going to carry a different designer.
Yes.
And you have to understand, I don't have a needlework shop anymore. I don't have a place I can physically go, but I miss that. I miss being able to physically go in a shop, look around at the models, even poor photos of a design. You're like, oh wow, look at that, versus kind of squinting on my phone, looking at something on my monitor. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
I'm much more likely to pick it up at a shop, unless I've seen it through my guild or somewhere else.
Right. Right.
I personally don't care for PDFs. I wonder though if the shops would carry someone else's design, saying, hey, yeah, you're looking for that designer, but you can download it on a PDF, or say, okay, yeah, I'll, you pay me and I'll download it and I'll print it for you here at my shop or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't carry that designer because you can get it as a PDF.
Right. Yeah. I mean, from the business perspective, it raises some questions. From pure running the shop, I have limited retail space. Mm-hmm. It just raises questions as a shop owner. Well, all right, do I carry that? Or like you said, there's a new designer who is printing their charts. Maybe I'll use that space. And
right.
If somebody comes in with, they print it on their printer and wants to kit it up, obviously, yeah.
Right.
Or like I said, I carry another line of threads, and that helps out everybody. I don't know. And that's the trouble with this, is these questions come up because technology changes things all the time for us.
Right. And my only other concern is when you have a physical chart, you can tell if someone photocopied it and gives you a copy of it.
Yeah.
If it's a PDF,
right,
you don't know.
Yep.
You just don't know if someone just said, well, I'm going to make 5 copies for my friends.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
But see now, you raise, that's another aspect of it, is because, most people will be honest and say, nope, I bought this, and no, I'm not just going to give you a copy. You buy your own.
Right.
And and quite frankly, if people start just passing out copies, this whole thing will collapse in a heartbeat.
Right.
Because designers will not make as much money, and they'll just say, look, it isn't worth it to me anymore to design, so forget it. I mean, it will collapse in a heartbeat. And, don't do that. And with the new Samplers magazine, that's one of the things that I've been tussling with lately, is that's going to be an online publication, subscription. And how do I stop people from just buying a subscription and then sharing it with 10 of their friends? And
Right.
that's tough to do. And quite frankly, I'll be right in that same boat with the designers. If that starts happening at any kind of a level that I can't cover costs and or be profitable with it, I'll shut it off because it's a lot of work. And not, and no, I'm not going to do it. So it's, it's tough from a business perspective to understand it. And, there's always going to be people who will cheat the system.
Right.
Unavoidable. There's always that, 5-10% of the people. Oh, here, let me email the PDF to you. You can have the chart too. We'll stitch it together. No, it doesn't work.
No.
But then you don't have a needlework shop. Now that we've moved to St. Louis, there are 2 needlework shops within driving distance, easy driving distance, one just a few miles, but they're painted canvas shops. So I don't have now a shop for cross stitch, for reproduction samplers,
Surface embroidery.
Yeah, none of that. I don't have that either anymore. And I painted canvas, in spades. And of course, painted canvas shops gives me access to threads, so that's plus.
Right.
But the other stuff, and you make a good point. Models. How many times have you seen a model that the picture that's okay, and then you see the model, whoa, give me that thing, sign me up,
Right.
And the shops are where you get those. So.
And we need those brick and mortar shops. I mean, I know there's some that are just online, and there's a reason for that. But I like going to a brick and mortar shop to see the models, to see the threads, to see the charts even. See all the little doodads, that you add to the, the buttons and beads and all that stuff that goes along with stitching. So, yeah, and I miss that. I miss that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I realize it's a tough business to be in. And I just like to give those shops as much help as we can to keep them going because, like I said, there isn't much around here.
Right.
I think that the closest shop is in Muscatine, which is about an hour and a half for me, 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Yeah. So there's in a day to go see them, there's 3 hours of driving to be in a shop for 2 hours. That's an entire day. Just yeah.
Right. And even to go into the suburbs of Chicago, that's a drive too, and that's a whole day.
Yeah.
Trip. And people do it here locally, but it's, again, you have to plan it, and it's excursion, it's fun, but it's nothing like when the shop up the road was open and it was a 30-minute drive, and I could say, oh yes, I need this thread. I'll call them. Do you have this? Yes. And I'm going to come and pick it up. I need it now. And,
yep.
But.
Oh yeah, people who have that. I used to have that back in Illinois. Yeah, I just got to run up the shop and get a couple skeins. Oh man, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, those
Not
people
possible.
who have that are spoiled, I'll tell you. Well, and I mean, we talk about it. We talk about support your local shops, and we need to do that. And sometimes I think we pay lip service to that. I think people say that and don't practice it. I don't know. I'm sure you can make a case. Well, if I'm buying DMC cotton, it's cheaper at Joann's. Yeah, it is. And you see people do that, and I can't blame them. There's a sale at Joann's. I can get a ton of thread for a fraction. But man, you need those shops because if the rainbow gallery threads are needed or the overdyes are needed, or you need a linen, boy, if you don't have that shop, man, that's tough.
It is. Yeah. It is tough.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I was going to stitch a canvas piece, and I'm thinking, how much canvas do I have in my stash? And I've cut a lot of it up using it for projects. And I'm thinking, oh man, where can I get a huge hunk of canvas now? I mean, just plain canvas. Before, I'd call the shop and I'd say, hey, when you place your next canvas order, add a yard. I want a whole yard. I want a big or couple yards. Just add it, and I'll pay for it. And when you get yours in, just cut me off a hunk.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's how much I would use. And I would share it with members of my guild or whatever, but I would buy it through the shop, the local shop.
Yep.
Because that was, it made sense. And yeah, I missed that. Now it's like, oh, who has that? Where can I get that big old hunk of canvas from?
Yep. Well, you just hit it. Now, when I was putting together things for the Lady Mary thing, now I have a general practice where every now and then I'll buy a yard of 18-point needlepoint canvas and a yard of Congress cloth, and I just keep them rolled up in a tube.
Right.
And I thought I had bought. There's good grammar for you. I purchased a half yard it was of off-white, antique white needlepoint canvas. Well, Lady Mary calls for an ivory. So I thought, oh, I got it. I'll just use off-white. It can't be that big of a difference. And so I went to look. I don't have that. I used it up.
Oh.
And I was sure, I got that, because a 10 by 10 piece, for crying out loud, I've got that. No, I don't. And then I looked at my roll of white 18-point needlepoint canvas. I've chopped that up to the point where what's left, I really can't do much with. And so you just described, I'm in the same boat. Now I need to order, because I like having that around, because doodle cloths, just playing around stuff, it's handy to have. And when you think, well, what does it cost for a half a yard of needlepoint canvas? But it keeps. I have it. Over the course of a couple of years, what's that cost? It's not all that much. And for you to drive and pick some up, 3-hour trip.
Right. If they even have it, because the shop is it doesn't carry needlepoint.
Right.
I'm going to have to mail order it. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And I have to order it from somebody who understands you shouldn't fold it if it's a yard of needlepoint canvas.
Yes.
Please don't fold it. Someone who will send it to me. Yes, I know it'll be more expensive, but it needs to come in a roll.
Yep.
It needs to come in a roll.
And and you hit that. That is exactly right. If you go to a needlework shop, you can make sure that your canvas has never been creased.
Right.
Not, and by that I mean something didn't fall on the roll and put a crease in it. The piece you get has not been creased or damaged in any way. And
right.
Yeah, because you don't want that. No.
No. And you can cut around stuff. Like I've had pieces that have been, been sold to me and said, okay, there's this issue here. And I'm like, okay, I can work around that because that's fine. Yeah. But to have it purposely sent to you that way, I've had that, and you're like, oh, now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. You want it sent in a tube, rolled up, no creases. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's how I keep mine, carefully wrapped in a tube. I don't want any creases on it. Yeah.
Right.
So. Yeah, so it's supporting that local needlework store and not paying lip service to it, but supporting them. And these PDFs, I understand why people do it, but I really think it's another chip out of the local needlework store. If I'm not coming up with the right phrasing, but just another way to. Yeah.
It doesn't help them. It doesn't help the local needlework store, which in the long run will hurt the designers.
Yeah.
They need both. Needlework stores and need designers. Designers need the needlework stores.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
And it's
Oh,
and maybe the needlework stores are fine with it. I'd be surprised, but maybe they're fine with it. But I mean, they certainly can't say anything. That's the trouble. Is they can't really say anything about it. But I just, from a business perspective, I don't think it's helping them. And
right. So, like during the pandemic, people couldn't go out, but now we can, and so it's nice to have those paper charts. I feel like we're past that point. Really, are past it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's something to think about. It definitely something to think about, and you see more of it. And you made a good point that for European people and Australian people, where Australia, I mean, when they lock down, nothing happens. It's a way to get your charts out and to sell them, and so you can make a case for that. Europe, particularly in Britain now, with Brexit, postage is just ridiculous. So. There's always these exceptions to the rule, and you can make a case for those. But to me, there's just a trend of more and more designers offering PDFs for download, and I think it's a hurt to the stores. I really do.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need to keep them open. It'd be nice.
So I mentioned last Wednesday, I was just daydreaming, kind of talking about whether me, who has, in my opinion, zero artistic talent, if I took a drawing class and worked at it a bit, could I gain enough skill to be able to draw something more respectable than a stick figure?
And I think the answer to that is yes. Did someone else call you and say, hey, you should take this class?
No.
No.
But I've thought about it afterwards because generally people felt like, yes, just about anyone with a little instruction could develop enough drawing skill to at least put something down on paper where you could look at it and tell what it is. And and that came out of Natalie Dupuy has been taking a drawing class. Of course, she's an artist and she's talented and all those things, but she's been taking a drawing class to improve her drawing skills. And it's been fun on Instagram to watch what she's done with things. And she I can't even get in a room with her in terms of artistic talent. But it just got me thinking, if you wanted to design try your own designs, but you really felt like you needed some drawing skill, could you pick up enough to be functional?
I think so. And the reason I'm thinking about this is my casket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to draw my design onto my ground cloth. I think it's linen. And that's holding me back. I don't want to draw something that's going to look terrible,
Yep, right.
right. I want to put an image of my daughter on it, which was one thought, on a swing. I have it in my head with her little pigtails a flying.
Yeah.
I need to be able to draw that on, and I'm not confident of my skills right now for that. I think if I take a drawing class, basic drawing class, that would help. I know that, and I know because I know there's tricks. I know there's things you can do so you're able to draw something so it looks like what you want it to look like.
Right.
But not having taken art classes really since probably middle school, I don't have those. I've dabbled in it. I've taken some mixed media classes, as an adult, but nothing where I've really said, okay, I need to improve my drawing. And not only drawing, I think where you have an advantage over me is that because of your photography, you've got some composition skills.
Yeah.
Because you learned how to compose your photos so that they didn't just look like, yeah,
right.
amateur took that.
Right.
Right. I mean, and there's design skills in there that I don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a few basic things, but I haven't taken enough of those sort of classes to be able to do that, and to compose an image so that it just doesn't look like, okay, yeah, that looks really bad. But and I think you need to do that. And I think for me to advance in my needlework, or even to get my casket made, I need to, and not a huge amount of time in it, but do some basics. And look into the basics of design and the basics of drawing, so I can draw what I want on that casket. Either that, or I'm going to have to make two. Do Trish's as she's done it, and work on my drawing skills on the same time.
Yeah, but yeah,
that's 2 lifetimes.
That's a pricey way to go too, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's, I guess that is kind of a I don't know, irritation source of whatever, is because you're right. Visually, I can compose an image and have it be respectable. Visually, I can see light and see the impact it's having on a subject, and I can take a camera and I can capture that. And yeah, I'm not a wizard, but I can get the job done and make some nice images that you want an 11 by 14 to put in a frame. Yes, I can do that. A little rusty these days, but I can still pull it off. But then, all right, so if I did one of those, and I love to do macro photography, and I love to, like, for instance, take a flower and not macro in that I get really close and take a picture of the bloom. But I love to get in really close and pick out 2 or 3 petals and compose an abstract image of that and let the colors and light play. Okay, so I can do all that. So if I wanted that to become, say, a needle painted piece, that's where I get in trouble, because that somehow that has to get put down on ground cloth in some way and retain dimension and all those things. And see, I can't do that, and so then it ends up being a stick figure, and so I can't, because I have some images that I'd give a run at needle painting them, but I can't get it translated.
There's got to be some sort of, I'm using air quotes, trick to be able to do that. I mean, there's got to be a way that person who isn't like this fabulous painter, or art, you and I would be able to do that. And I think some basic drawing skills would help with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep thinking, just, and I follow a couple of mixed media artists who are, their basic thing is you just got to do it. You want to learn to draw. It's not rocket science. You just need to say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a day following this little formula and just do it, getting a good basic drawing book and copy it and just start.
Yeah. And
it's a skill that you can master. But 15 minutes a day drawing versus taking that 15 minutes and stitching is hard to, it's hard to make myself do that, because, sometimes 15 minutes is all I have, if you're busy. Right. So, yeah, but I do think I'm going to have to make myself do it so I can do the casket. That's what's really driving me, is I want to do a good job on that casket.
You have a very tangible need for some basic skills.
Right.
Me, it's just monkeying around, and I have plenty of other things to stitch, so it's not a priority. But you invested in that casket, and you have some very definite ideas of what that's going to look like, because you never intended to stitch what Tricia presented. I mean, that was never part of your plan at all. So, okay, right. So without those skills, you're stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And I now have all these materials to play with the casket, and it's like, okay, but I can't. Now I'm so stuck that what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I just need to get unstuck. And maybe actually this might even be a good time. I was just thinking it's almost time to move things out of my little stitching nest. And so I'm ready to decorate for Christmas.
Mm.
And that means, a lot of my stitching gets put away. There's just not room for it and the tree and and the kids, and college students in the room.
Yeah.
So, but drawing would be a smaller space.
Mm-hmm.
And say, okay, this might be the time to start working on that. So that way, starting in January, I could pull out the casket. Oh, that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be. I'll have to go back and listen to the talk we did with Trish and Nguyen.
Yeah.
About just starting on it. But,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too is you have specific ideas for a very personalized, family-oriented casket design. And
right.
Someone would say, well, just go find an artist and hire them and have them draw it. But no, then it's not you.
Right.
Then
right.
Yeah, you could execute that design, but that's not you that did this thing. Now some outside person got hired to create a design and it's what's in your head that you want. And so I can appreciate the problem. Yes.
I think it's held me back on a lot of other things. Like I take my kids laugh. You said you take pictures of hotels. I was laughing inside because I'm always stopping and taking pictures of the carpet floor at hotels.
Oh,
because I see needlepoint patterns.
Sure.
When I look at the floor, but have I ever drawn them out? Have I ever done anything with them? No, they just sit there. And again, I think if I learn some basic design, some basic drawing skills, then maybe I could start interpreting those into pieces.
Yeah.
Instead of them just being pictures in my phone waiting for me.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there are tricks. Like one trick when it comes to carpet patterns that comes to mind is to go into Photoshop where you can make it into a line drawing. You can make it into a black and white and eliminate or hype up the contrast to the point where you have basically a line drawing that you could then capture that pattern, put it to a grid, and you'd have it. There is a trick to do that, but it doesn't work with everything. I mean, if it's a very geometric pattern with good contrast to start with, you can scare the lines out of it, and then have your pattern. But I've seen that work, and other times I've seen it just fail. And and that's the thing is for needlework, we don't need a detailed, three-dimensional, eye-popping pen and ink illustration.
Right.
We just need some basic outlines and basic dimensions so that we can interpret with needle and thread. And
right.
Yeah, but to have that without it looking like a stick figure kindergartner drawing is kind of
right. Or look like you just threw things on there and they don't make design sense. It just looks like you just threw things on there. That would be bad too. So
yeah. Well, go sign up for a class, Beth. I'll be curious to see what you learn.
Thanks, Gary. That's what I need, another class.
Yeah, I'll follow your lead on that. How's that?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I'll be way behind in my following, but I'll follow you. Yeah.
Great. That's always good. Yeah.
All right. That's going to be it. Sunday, the girls take over Sunday. Actually, women. The women take over Sunday, not the girls. The women take over Sunday. That's fun. That was a good one. Call the Attic. Contribute to the cause there. Get your chance to win. And that's it.
Stitching and chatting tonight.
Oh, yes. Join us 8 o'clock Eastern on the YouTube channel. Okay, that's it. And next week, we'll hear a report from Beth on her first class of drawing and illustration. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.